money for capital improvements. The idea that we're not saving money last year and not budgeting money again this year is, I can understand why you want to do it, but I would take the $50,000 that we're spending needlessly, in my view, for a clerk and put $50,000 into the capital improvement fund.
How much do you want to put on that line, John?
I just said $50,000, and I would reduce it.
$50,000 on 900? What line?
On line 44.
Or, yeah.
Which line?
In the detail budget, it's 900. On the budget at a glance, it's 44.
And I think that's, see, I think that's prudent budgeting.
If you're paying interest only on a loan, it's like someone that's just using credit cards and paying interest only. I mean, it's a lot of people get in trouble that way, and I think we wouldn't do it. Nobody would do that in their home.
Hey, Butch?
On the capital improvement fund, 5,000, 2,000, correct?
Right.
Have we been doing that for a few years now?
Yes,
What
do
is
that.
Is that a total amount for money? Am I missing it?
The capital improvement fund goes over to the capital fund, and it sits there to either fund projects or use for down payments when you do a bond
Right,
ordinance.
and that's what John's speaking about.
Right.
I mean, it should have an amount.
It does. Again,
So here, I don't know.
I can go and grab that. I forget. I think it's somewhere around 100,000 that it has in there right now.
How much is it?
100,000.
Okay, in the utility capital fund, we have over 300.
Right. That's different. Right.
So,
Oh, here, Patty.
John wants to put another 50, Democrats want to put another $50,000 in the capital improvement fund.
Patty, can I have that document just?
By
so I
way
know
of,
that number?
by way of reducing the salary line.
And then- Let's see here.
That's right.
Anything else, John? You got any cuts for us, or
I
is it
just want to,
all
which
increases?
it's
I just cut
$111,000 right
$50,000
now.
in by way of not hiring a new clerk.
No problem.
We have,
I hate to let you know, but we need a clerk.
we have.
It's a mandatory position for a town.
Wait, excuse me?
Mandatory for the town.
We have a clerk.
We do not have a
Deputy clerk.
We,
We have a deputy clerk that doesn't want to be a clerk.
with all due respect, Ms. Zendaya, we have an acting clerk pursuant to the statute. It meets the requirements of the statute. And if you were supportive of the person, maybe they would be more encouraged to pursue the position. You want to just hire somebody because you want to hire somebody, but you don't want to have to worry about having to deal with the $50,000.
Okay, could we stop? Okay, we get it from both of you. Could we keep with the budget, please?
Yes. One additional item here, the reserve for uncollected taxes. Have we spoken about this? Because I was here 4 minutes
Oh, I'm
late.
sorry, Rich. Go ahead, John.
The reserve for uncollected taxes, you make a note about that it needs to be calculated, that it's an estimate.
Right.
Right.
Now, again, every year we go through this. Why is it you're increasing that by $20,000 over last year?
Because our collection rate went down a little bit last year, which is going to increase that. The school levy is going up, the county levy is going up. So when that calculation is done, it takes all of that into account, and depending on where we go with our tax levy, it will have to be accounted for. And last year we were at the maximum already, or at the minimum rather, of the 230, so it's going to have to go up to some degree. Whether or not it's going to go up to 250, whether it's going to be over that is going to depend on where we end up as well.
We increased that significantly last year too, didn't we?
We went to what the minimum allowed was.
Mr. Gibber.
Thank you. I would just like to suggest that on this side of the budget, which to me is like a lot of discretionary spending, the best we're going to do is start tearing around the edges. And I think we have to look at the other side of the expenses here, where it's costing us our employees and what we can do to reduce these benefit allotments. We have a $424,000 healthcare bill that doesn't includes what's already being taken out. And I would suggest that we've got to do more. We could close a large gap. The average state employee in the state of New Jersey only pays 8% toward their healthcare premium. On the federal government, they pay 35%.
In Spring Lake Heights, we pay 1 point, they pay 1.5.
1.5 of salary, which equals 6.35 of the benefits. So, there is a difference. But, if you're going by salary, you're correct. It's 1.5%. But I really do think that if we're going to look at reducing our expenses in a significant way and reducing the burden on the taxpayer in a significant way, we have to look at the healthcare benefit.
And I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
How do you propose we proceed with that?
I think we have to gradually do an incremental increase over the next few years. I think that has to be done across the board for everybody.
Okay.
And I'm not saying you want to run out there and kill them overnight and say, well, we're going from 6% to 35%. But certainly, incrementally over the next couple of years, we should have a long-range view as to where we want to get to.
Yeah, but what about this year's budget? Right now, this proposed budget's $174,000 in the red.
Right.
Okay, so, I mean,
I don't know what they're paying.
I'm all for asking the employees to contribute more to their insurance, particularly since the insurance has been,
Going up dramatically. We had these discussions, John, you and I, in the audience and here, and I agree with
Well,
you.
let's
because-
do it. Let's not
Right.
talk about, in future years, because quite frankly, it needs to be addressed. And it needs to be addressed if we could get some concessions. And I asked for,
Well, we just had a police contract settled, and we're paying all of their benefits for the next 3 years.
that's right.
So you're talking about a very small pool of people that you're gonna ask to do this. And I might remind you that
I don't think it's
Work.
a small pool.
it's the public works men, which is what, 12 plus the office, which is not a lot of people. And the police are not gonna be touched at all, I'm just pointing out, and the people in the office, in particular, have not gotten a raise for 2 years, and they've been paying. They're the only ones that have been paying the 1.5 since the day it came into being.
But here's where I agree with John, and John made a point
I'm not
last
saying
year.
we shouldn't, but I'm just saying, just be sure of who you're going after.
No, I understand that, but when you get an increase, when we get the bill for the benefits and it comes in at a 16% increase, the workers have gotten an increase. That's a correct point, and I agree with John on that. And what I'm saying is, we need to start addressing this, and again, not on an incremental basis. We can't eventually, within 2 or 3 years, this bill, even if we stayed right where we are, could be over $500,000 at the rate healthcare has gone up every year. We can't afford that. It is